because today's show is actually going to be talking about the opposite of happiness. But we're going to get into it. We're going to be looking at, as usual, a couple emails that called my attention to it's a real problem. And I have probably been ignoring it for too long, but I feel right now is the right time to take a closer look at it, and that is, why, Mia, are women always feeling unhappy and satisfied? Now, I have to add that clearly not every woman is unhappy, but many are. In fact, a hell of a lot of the women that I know just seem to be in a perpetual state of gloom, despair, cynicism, depression, and or anxiety. And this or that issue, and in many cases, it isn't related to anything they can identify at all. They just don't feel happy, Mia. Now, you and I have talked a lot about this. So after our latest discussion, it dawned on me that I needed to draw up a list, if you will, of the reasons why women are feeling this way and just what they can do about it. Because we have a couple emails here as well that have bearing on this. So if I may, I'd like to read this list and get your thoughts on each one before we look at the emails, okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mia's 5 reasons why women are always unhappy and what they can do about it. Number 1 on the list is that women have too high expectations of their men and everyone else but themselves.
I think, women have high expectations of herself too. Everybody else and themselves. But one of the problems of most women is they expect their partner to make them happy.
Yeah, right.
So even though when you are unhappy, you look at your partner and because it's so easy to blame your partner. So when you're not feeling good, you look at your partner and you say, what the heck did I marry you? You are a loser. You don't have enough money. You are too fat. You don't work as hard as I do. You start looking at all those things. And then you look at your own self as a woman and you say, look what I'm doing with my life. I work so hard. I do so much. And you don't appreciate.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that make a great influence nowadays is that women are doing too much. We are not having enough time for ourselves. Think about it. When in history did the woman work outside of the house, and then you come home, you gotta cook, you gotta clean, and give sex for the man?
Yeah.
Very few men that stay at home are there cooking, cleaning, and helping. So one of the aspects of happiness is to share things equally. And I think the woman try to do too much because they think, I don't mind working, I make great money, and then I don't have to deal with the kids screaming. Let my man do it, let the babysitter do it. But there is a time for everything in life. When the kids are little, they need you. So woman, I'm not saying it's possible for everyone to stay home, but you should get to know your kids. That's why you put the kids on the planet to begin with. And spend time with them. So you learn more about your children and you learn more about being a mom, and you are able to cook healthy meals and participate in the family. But when you work constantly, you don't have time for that. And on top of that, you got to put that image at your workplace. You got to be beautiful, you got to be in shape, and you got to be smart. So I think one of the major problems is we are overloading ourselves with expectations, like you say, and we want too much. We want to be the superwoman where truly we are not.
And
you do it for a while and you get burned.
I mentioned expectations because I think we're placing, especially with women, they're saying they're asking for certain things from people, men especially, that they're never going to get. And so I think when I say that the expectations are too high, they're just not realistic. We're going to get to why that is in another one of these, number 3, in fact. But let me you just mentioned that word again, happiness. So number 2, and you said it before, is that they expect the man to bring them happiness. But as we just wrote in our book, the Get Over Yourself Handbook on Creating Happiness in Relationship, happiness has to come from within, correct?
Of course, you got to participate, and you got to look at yourself again, examine yourself, and not blame the man only. Of course, a lot of times it's easy to blame others,
right?
Like the man who lives with you. So if you're not feeling good, you start looking around and you go, it's your fault because you're not cleaning the house. It's your fault. You're not making as much money as me. You are not taking care of all the kids. So you start bombarding the man with negativity and you think it's his fault.